Welcome back to Big Red Rant. Gary had a nice little vacation with the family, so we are basically fast forwarding through last week's terrible loss to Minnesota. But Gary, it just seems like things cannot get worse for the Huskers. Every time we turn around, we're stubbing our toe, getting a DUI. Hit the like for us. Don't forget to subscribe. We're going to break down what it means to lose Miles Farmer before this Michigan matchup. Gary, who do you see getting the start instead of Miles? And is it going to be too much of an absence to have a chance against Michigan? Or did we never have a chance against Michigan in the first place? I think I know the answer.
Yeah, 100% you know the answer. We never had a chance.
You never had me. You never had your car.
We could replace him with our pick of any other safety in the nation. We still don't have a chance. Singleton and Sanford were the two kind of alternating at safety, taking Spell and the other guys on Saturday. Mickey said that those two will pretty much share the workload of Farmer being out, but it just, okay. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's going to be, a lot's been made of him being, the second most tackles on the team or whatever. And it's not to take anything away from him. That has way more to do with we can't stop the run to save our lives. So if and when a tackle's made, it's 90% of the time way in the backfield, and that's what your safeties are there for. It's not like, he's flying down into run fits and cracking guys or catching, corners that get burnt and cleaning up their guys or whatever. It's a lot of chase down tackles, or as guys are slowing down after they've gotten deep into the second level, he comes up and cleans it up. It's just, the team has far bigger issues than one of your safeties being gone for this game, especially against this team. I mean, we couldn't stop the top two running backs we played. We're not going to stop Corum. It doesn't matter, man. Like, it says more, or I feel like it might have more of an impact on the program, what's going on in there, and like the potential of Mickey Joseph and things like that. I had my little tangent after the Illinois game about how I felt like that was the first game where anybody who is not for Mickey Joseph having the job, he basically had a coaching performance to back their opinion. This is another thing you could throw in there. Fisher talked earlier in the season about how Farmer was one of those guys who would come late to practice, do whatever, he'd really turn the corner, and he made him one of the leaders in that DB room and keeping an eye on what everybody else is doing and things like that. People make mistakes, whatever. I know you're going to have a handful of people that, you never drank in college and blah, blah, blah. That's not the point, man. It's like I tell my kid, either be smooth and don't let me catch you, or find out later, or keep your head clean. You know what I'm saying? And because if not, it's going to come back looking bad on me. How many times do you see that where you're like, man, how are parents raising their kids? Obviously not as serious of a situation. Mickey Joseph alluded when he's talking about the quarterback today that he views these guys like his sons. So, I mean, there is that comparison in a tight group like a football team and coaches. In one of your guys that you've made a leader has this kind of a lapse. Like, so now is his leadership to blame partially? It just adds more questions, man. And I just don't see, I don't see anything to kind of wrap this up. Him being gone isn't going to make a difference. And I don't see things getting better, or like we talked way before when I was saying things need to incrementally get better and then plateau and then incrementally get better, and they can't go backwards. And I feel like the last 2 or 3 weeks, things have started to, maybe gradually, but they've definitely started to go backwards.
As far as the DUI itself, he had a blood alcohol content of 0.123. Now, I'm not as much of an alcohol connoisseur as you are. Do you mind enlightening me and others that might not know? Is that a high DUI blood alcohol content, or is that not? Not that it's okay, just wondering.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, like, the severity of what that is. I'm sure it's pretty different from person to person. Like, for example, if you and I had the same level, I'm sure I'd be a little bit better functioning than you, just because I drink a lot more than you do. But the legal limit is 0.8. So he's less than double, but he's obviously over it. So I mean, I'd just be guessing to say he wasn't like crazy and swerving all over the place. I think they pulled him over because he wasn't using his turn signal or something. It wasn't even that he was driving reckless or doing whatever. But to me, that's not as important as the judgment. You know what I mean? The bad judgment call, bad decision when that's supposed to be one of your team leaders. You know, that's also, like they pointed out, they said it, you know, I'm not putting extra responsibility on the dude. The coaches have said he's the guy they in charge, him and Newsom in that room, and have keeping track of what other guys are doing and expected to be a leader. So I mean, to me, that just doesn't look good for anyone, the guys who put you in charge. And it obviously it's not on them, but it makes them look bad, makes yourself look bad, makes your whole, you know, people easily start questioning culture and things like that when you're on a bad losing streak like they are. So to me, it's more about the judgment call than it is the actual crime or whatever you want to call it.
I understand. Michigan, one more time. Any chance here we're able to get a dub? And let me just pitch you my game plan, all right, if I could be in Mickey's ear.
Okay.
I say, Mickey, you run as much time off the clock as possible when you got the ball. You take every single second off the clock that you can. Play clock. Keep Michigan on the sideline as long as possible and give it to Grant 33 to 36 times. And of course, our other running backs can have totes too, but I think it just needs to be the Grant show. Hope and pray that our offensive line can get a push because they damn sure can't pass protect. Any of that hitting home for you?
No, I think that's obviously what everybody's mindset is. But again, it's so like, I don't want to say frustrating. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what the word is for it. But again, that offensive line cannot do that for you. The second, Anthony Grant has drastically regressed from the first 4 games of the season to the last 4 or 5. And it's not his fault. It's because everybody knows to just dial in on him, stack the box, match up one-on-one. If Palmer starts killing you, then bracket him with the safety. Nobody else can do anything. The line doesn't allow you time to do anything else in the run or the pass game. But one thing that really has stood out is, if you had to guess, how many catches a game do you think our running backs average?
3?
1.8 for no touchdowns. So I understand that they like Purdy as the passer, Smothers as the rusher. Mickey Joseph was talking about, you know, Smothers is like a gamer. He doesn't practice as well as he plays in games. Okay, great. You're not getting W's and L's based on practice. We figured out the problem, so now let's just move on from there. Put Smothers in, mix it up with run pass, maybe actually attempt 5 to 8 passes to your running backs out of the backfield. They can be shallow ones as the pocket's breaking down. Start making them have to stay home. Tell Smothers to run out of the passing plays when the pocket starts to break down. You know, before he threw that pass to Trey Palmer that he dropped on that 4th down to end the Minnesota game, he started to roll left, swung back right, and then threw it out of bounds on a 3rd and 5 when I feel like he could have easily ran for the 1st down and probably out of bounds. It depends on the angle that the guy had coming down. But even, you know, the clock stops, even if he's got to kind of lean into run through the dude to get the 1st down. Like, he needs to be going on those. Purdy, everybody knows he doesn't have the legs that he has. And Smothers seems to do enough in the pass game that if you add that running game, you throw out of the backfield a little bit more, mix things up, then what you're saying, now you can kind of extend drives and do whatever. But you can do all of those things and you're still not winning this game. So, because you're not going to be able to stop the run, you're not going to be able to score consistently on drives to make it much of a game. So, no, back to answering your question, I don't see any way possible they win. I think if those things I'm talking about happen, and that you use your offense, or you're able to somehow use your offense as a form of defense by keeping them on the field, maybe you cover that 28-29 point spread, but I'm not even sold on that.
I hope people really enjoy the new direction that the channel has taken, which is all doom, all gloom.
I mean, or all realistic.
That's fair.
I mean, I understand people are excited and they want every week's a new week and things like that. But based off of what is the next good thing?
Here's
what
my
do
own,
we-
here's
what do we
my
gonna
only
split with that?
argument. My only potential argument is we would have thought that we would have just gotten flat boat raced by Minnesota, but we came out, had them down 10 at halftime. Did we shit the bed? Yes, but
I mean, I would argue the boat racing part, because Minnesota's offense doesn't really allow for them to boat race teams. I mean, yeah, if they would have ran the ball like, say, Northwestern did that second half, or Georgia Southern did, or something like that, then I guess they could have. But they're not a quick scoring team that's going to do something like that. And we're kind of splitting hairs now with what we're talking about. But I'm just saying the regression started, pretty much at Rutgers, but they managed to hang on and still eke out a win. Since then, you've lost your quarterback. The offensive line, you could argue, has gotten worse, not better. Teams have enough game film on the running game plan to be able to keep Grant at bay. Teams are now starting to bracket Palmer. It's just teams are learning how to stop the few things Nebraska could do. And Nebraska doesn't have alternate options in the plays or the players in the areas on the field that they need drastic improvement on. They're not even getting minor improvement on. So, yeah, I mean, you can call it doom and gloom, but I mean, it's just kind of, it is doom and gloom. So saying that it is, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
I thought I would just point it out. Tell us what you guys think in the comments below. Is the doom and gloom warranted, or do you guys think we have a shot this weekend? Hit the like button if you haven't already, and we will see you guys after the game for some post-game coverage. Go Big Red.